thing has gone up. The other thing is wages go up. And it's very difficult for wages to come back down as quickly. So that's when we talk about inflation flowing through the system. That's the thing that we're worried about, that type of inflation, not the inflation that comes from commodities like iron ore or which is steel or coal or that. So that's basically, look at that, what an educational lesson. Didn't even prepare any of this, just kind of like explained to you how inflation works. But that's what we're worried about. And so the big picture is, if you don't really care for any of this, the big picture is that it could mean that interest rates go higher in the United States, higher than we were expecting. And that's obviously bad because then we're like, mortgages go up in the United States, their economy enters a recession, potentially, blah, 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 blah. And that's the fear anyway. And one of the things that will happen, so I am now, you cannot see this, but I am putting my crystal ball on the table and I'm saying if interest rates go higher in the United States than we think, you can expect the Australian dollar to fall. So if you're planning an overseas holiday, like to the US, or if you're going to Europe, you might consider transferring some of your money now. So I know you're going, Kate.
Yeah, where was this tip?
Monique.
You haven't told me this yet.
So you might consider that, even just some of it now. Now, this is not. It's not going to the Australian dollar is very stable as a currency, but that's just something to keep in mind, and that's kind of the implication of that. But if we look around the world, Europe is like in a really bad way economically, and because their energy prices are up like 200 or 300%. And places like Germany and that are going to struggle to find the energy to power them through winter. So you might be going over there and you might just rug up.
I think I'm going to have to take a few jackets with me.
Yeah, but that's what's happening. Has it really changed the way people should be investing? No, not really. Just as we come into the next year, I'd just say make sure you got your emergency fund, make sure you're gainfully employed. That's basically multiple sources of income if you can. Just protect yourself. Be prepared for the worst. Expect the best is probably what I would say.
And the Reserve Bank over here has indicated there'll be a few more interest rate increases this year.
That said, yeah, that's probably true. That said, they also said that we wouldn't have interest rate rises until 2024, and that didn't happen. So people bash the Reserve Bank in Australia for making these expectations. Sometimes they happen, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
I agree that we'll probably see that interest rates go up in Australia, but so when you get your mortgage, so say like your fixed rate, I think we talked about this recently, but when you get your mortgage, the fixed rate that you have as an option, that typically prices in some of what the banks expect to happen in the future. That's why your fixed rates are a lot higher than your variable rate. Does that make sense? Because if they lock in your interest rate and interest rates go up, they have to adjust for, otherwise in a year from now, they won't be making any money. So they're basically saying, we expect interest rates to go up. That's why we're putting our fixed rate higher. Yeah. That's why you pay more for that. But over like a 10 or 20 year period, a standard variable rate, while it is unpredictable on your budget, it tends to work out better. Tends to, not always, but tends to, because of that reason.
Yeah.
There we go. Second lesson of the day.
There you go. Yeah, I know after the RBA rate increase last week, my lender said they were passing on the full 0.5% increase onto me for my variable rate.
Did you say thanks?
I said thank you. It was great news. But it's something to be aware of, especially in this environment, staying on top of your home loan interest rates.
Yeah. Definitely now is a good time to speak to your broker and to just ask their opinion. It's a tough one. I just think whether to fix your rate or not is a pretty tough decision. So, if you've got a big mortgage, you might really value the stability, but just be prepared that next year we could have interest rates falling. So, I guess the way I think about it is kind of regret minimization. You can lock in some now. If you don't lock it all in, then you might be able to benefit from some lower variable rates while still having some predictability and some guarantee that if rates do go higher, you've locked it in at a lower level. it's a tough one, and it basically comes down to what you're prepared to risk. For me, we're still variable. So, that's just what works for us. But if it's someone else, like, it's horses for courses a bit.
Yeah. And talking about rates, in a follow-up to our high interest savings account episode, which was very popular, and we got a lot of feedback from that one, which is another thing worth keeping an eye on, because alongside people that have mortgages, potentially having rate increases on their variable loan, savers are getting rewarded at the moment.
Yeah, hey, if we were first home buyers now, like if we could rewind 5 years and take the economic situation of now, we would be laughing, honestly, because house prices are falling.
And it's a great time to have your deposit in a high interest savings account.
And you're getting money for your deposit. No more, I'm going to put it in crypto to try and make it grow faster. Just put it in a savings account. And it makes sense. So this is the thing. If you're a young person or anyone that's looking to purchase a home, provided you have a reliable income, now is a great time to start shopping around. You know, you probably have, sure, your borrowing power might have come down a bit, but you might be able to find desperate sellers or, save more money in a high interest savings account and get ahead. So first time in a long time, it's actually good.
Yeah, and so we had a few people write in some other ones that we didn't have included on that list in that episode. So if you haven't listened to our high interest savings account episode, I'd recommend you do so. And we also had a few comments in our Rask core community, which was great.
Yeah, that's where you got the Google Doc from.
Yeah,
right?
there was someone mentioned a specific comparison spreadsheet that people on the internet put together of different savings accounts. So I can include that in the show notes. But there's the Virgin Money Boost Saver. So that's, at the moment, that's 3.3% up to $250,000. It does have a couple of hurdles there.
$2,000 into your Go account.
Yes. So there's a few hurdles there. And there's also the option to lock your money, which means that you can get an extra interest rate on the one they're offering, but you have to provide 32 days notice. So it's kind of like a 1 month rolling term deposit.
Yeah, I remember this was popular on Twitter too. So thanks to everyone that reached out on Twitter and said that this is very popular at the moment and they like it. But it is kind of like a 30-day term deposit, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to, it keeps rolling, but you have to provide 32 days notice to unlock the account to withdraw your money.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
But that takes it up to 3.6%. The AMP Saver was offering 2.6% with a deposit $250 or more in the previous month. We have ANZ Save offering 2.7%. That didn't appear to have any hurdles on first clients. And probably an extra shout out that UBank from the 1st of October will be increasing their savings account interest rate to 3.35%.
UBank
per year. So, and someone mentioned on Instagram that with the UBank hurdle, because we mentioned that you had to put some money in each month, you can transfer $200 in to tick the box and then transfer it out. So it doesn't necessarily have to grow the balance each month like other accounts. So
JC Collins.
Yes.
Shout out to you. Fantastic. Is UBank's not the one that did that crazy thing with their logo, is it?
Oh,
No.
UBank was a neobank that got purchased. So
UBank purchased the neobank, didn't they? 86, is that 400? Is that
yeah. So 86,400. So UBank's branding is now 86,400 branding, but it's called UBank. So the logo looks the same except it says UBank now.
Okay, right.
So UBank's
I'm thinking of Beemit. Beemit's got that logo that's like...
Yeah, Beemit still exists. So Beemit's that peer-to-peer payments and allows you to split bills, and that's owned by a few of the banks.
Yeah, but the logo is like a / with a 0. It doesn't make any sense.
Wow. There's some logos in finance that just don't make sense, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Anyway.
It's creative. We're talking about it, so it worked.
So thanks to everyone for sharing their savings account. At the end of the day, there's a lot of options. And if you are saving for a house deposit, if you're putting your emergency fund somewhere, if you're saving for a trip, make sure you're getting a good rate because it's a bit of extra money you wouldn't have had otherwise.
I like it. Lots of the links in the show notes will be key there. Also, that Google Doc is really cool because you can actually apply to be a moderator of the Google Doc as well.
Yeah.
So this is like the community of concerned citizens coming together and helping other people find the best rate. So it's really cool. I like it.
So, Monique, do you have something fun to share with us this month?
Oh, yes. I guess if you know me, I like to craft.
Yes.
And I learned this kind of like throughout lockdown because I didn't have a job. So I was like, what can I do to fill my time? And I also I'm a giving person. So I like to give a lot of gifts. And that can be kind of expensive sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I taught myself how to knit, crochet, sew, do pottery, and give them as gifts. And that saved me a lot of money in the long run. I brought some props. So if you're watching, I made this little cardigan. I'll put it in front of the camera. Yay.
It is so cute. It's a little knitted jumper. What colour is that, Monique?
So it's kind of like a beige speckled.
Beige with
pink and brown and white buttons.
Mm-hmm. And it's about the size of an iPad.
Yes, a little baby cardigan.
It's not going to fit on you, Monique.
No.
Yeah. You can put it on your hand. That's so cute.
Yeah, like little mittens. Yep.
So if you were to buy something like this would cost a lot of money.
So that would be like $40-$50 in the stores type thing, I guess. I mean, depending what brands you like to buy. But that cost me probably $5 to make. I mean, I did go in the bargain bin and get the cheap wool.
And how many hours of your time and love went into it?
Yeah.
So instead of watching TV, I do like 2 hours a night type thing of knitting and crocheting. So if you also like to find a new hobby, it's a fun thing to do. But also, if you don't have that much time to do it, there are other things you could give that also save money. Like, I know me and Kate were talking the other day, doing like a jar of like a brownie mixture or something. So all you need to do is like put cocoa flour, sugar in a jar. And then that's a nice little gift to give. That's cost effective as well. I just found that also when you give these homemade gifts to people that they actually appreciate it a lot more as well. And they're like, oh my God, you made this. You spent your time to make this for me. Yeah. And that's just like a really nice feeling as well.
And Monique made me some wonderful homemade knitted coasters for my housewarming gift, which I use for tea whenever anyone comes over. So I think of Monique every time I use them, which is every morning. So there you go.
So sweet.
But it's a good way to build that community connection and do something with your money that brings memories as well as just a gift.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
It's kind of like a conversation starter as well, because then people always ask like, oh my God, why did you learn to do this? Or like, how do you do it? And then I'm like, oh, you just watch a YouTube video and follow what the lady says.
And that's it.
I feel like Sally used to do something like this with her succulents as well. Put them in the little pots.
Yeah, all the propagations.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah. That's a good way. You said you can, instead of watching TV, but I'm sure you could have TV playing in the background while you
Which
do
is
this
what
as well.
I do, yeah. I'm currently rewatching Lost. And so that's going on in the background while I do my crochet and knitting. Yep.
Because you can rewatch things and you don't have to pay full attention because you
Exactly.
know where it's going.
Yep.
And you can just go, oh, yeah, I remember that bit. And then you can zoom back into crocheting.
Yep, exactly.
Cool. I like it.
There's so many hobbies that are great for your mind, just to take your attention off of things.
Yeah.
And also low cost way to take up a bit of time.
Yeah, for sure. This is great. This doubles as a hobby, something that you get
Christmas gifts.
pleasure from, and you can save money.
Exactly. And you feel like accomplished when you've made something, I feel. So
Cool.
it's just a nice feeling.
Yeah, it actually is to have a hobby where you have a finished product. It's
Yeah.
kind of cool. Like a lot of hobbies you don't.
Yeah.
If you're into fitness or something like that, I guess your finished product is your body, but you can't really sell it. Okay. This is cool. Really nice. I'm sure we'll have a few people reach out and say they do the same thing because it's
So
a
if
great
anyone
thing to
has
do.
any other ideas, like I'd love to hear them because I like to make anything.
Yeah. Maybe you can make I feel like it would be too warm, but maybe you can make an adult size one of these and we can wear it at FinFest.
Oh, yes.
In the heat.
with the Rask emblem.
Yeah, with the Rask emblem. There's a few too many colours for that, though. That's cool. I like it. So $5 to create this. Obviously, your time goes into it as well.
Yeah, a lot of time in there. But if
love.
you're making it for someone who you love, then you don't mind spending the time.
Yeah, cool. I like it. That's great.
Homemade gifts.
Homemade gifts.
If you've got some homemade gifts idea for this Christmas, let us know and maybe we'll share a whole list of different ideas to get people moving. I do like shortbread.
Oh.
Yes.
Hint.
I thought you liked just bread in general. If you just take out the short, you just like bread.
No, but I mean, that means you have to make the bread like the day before you give it to them for Christmas. So I'm thinking shortbread has a little bit more of a shelf life.
You can do it like a few days out.
Or the puddings? Christmas
Oh,
puddings?
yeah. They last forever, don't they?
Yeah.
Christmas
Yeah.
puddings are quite expensive to make. Like the
Lot
amount
of
of
stuff that goes
fruit
into it.
and
Yeah,
things.
okay. Too much effort for that one.
It is a bit
And you have
pricier.
to, don't you normally do that a few months or weeks in advance?
You'd have to start the Christmas pudding sitch now. And the Christmas cakes, you got to give them time to mature.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. That's jeez.
Shortbreads.
Long-term investment. I don't know.
Yes. Well, maybe you could try Owen. Anyway, my suggestion
Oh, yes,
for
here we
this
go.
month is less fun, but also very important. And it's about making your loved one's life easier at the end of the day. And that is thinking about where you're storing the will. Your will, that is
very interesting.
who you're leaving, what you're leaving to your loved ones.
I
after
totally
you
like-
pass.
I
Where
just-
you're leaving.
I've
Yeah.
been watching Lost, and that was a problem in one of the episodes. I just watched.
Okay, so
they couldn't
real-life
find Dad's will.
application.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, Kate would know this. Like, she wouldn't let this happen.
So you need to have it somewhere safe, and someone actually needs to know where it is. So
Yeah.
if you've hidden it in a box deep in the ground in your backyard, unless anyone knows where it is, it's probably not that helpful. It's only a good document if it's safe and someone knows where it is. So whether it's with your solicitor, it's in a fireproof safe in your house that someone knows the code to, or the Victorian Will Bank and register is free. So you can register the location of your will. So someone can contact the Will Bank, which is a semi-government owned kind of situation, and find out where the will is, or you can actually store it with them, and they have secure storage facility for wills and power of attorneys. So that is free for Victorians, and some of the other states have it, and there might be a small fee to access it and things like that.
We did, obviously, the episode. People can go back
Yes,
and
this is
listen.
inspired by the episode with David on wills from state trustees.
Yeah. So, actually, have you looked at other states?
I think I got to New South Wales, and there was just like a small fee to store it if you didn't create the will with them, but it was very minimal.
Okay.
And if you wanted to get the will out to have a look at it and then send it back, there was a small fee there. But
It's probably worth it.
yeah, I mean, if you don't have, it's probably cheaper than a safe.
Yeah, and you can store, but you can store it with your lawyer as well. Typically, lawyers will store it for you if you do the will through them.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea also to tell someone who your solicitor is.
Yes.
Yeah.
About that.
Yeah, it needs to be safe and it needs to be accessible. Otherwise, there's no point having it. People need to be able to find it. And the other thing I have this month, which I've been doing myself recently, is doing some of those free trials or the low-cost trials where it's like $50 for 2 weeks of unlimited classes at your local gyms and fitness centres, because often you don't really want to commit, or you don't know exactly what type of exercise you like. So it's a good way to get to know your new area if you've moved recently and get some fitness in at a lower cost.
How many gyms do you have around your area?
Well, there's a lot of fitness centres. So there might be a place that just does Pilates and Reformer Pilates, or just does small group classes or things like that. But there's maybe 6 or 7 different places. I've only tried one so far, but
So you
it's been fun.
possibly go for like 6 or 7 months.
Yeah. So it's not been a pest really, because I intend to pick one. I just don't exactly know what one I want to pick. So yeah, so a lot of places will have low cost trials and things like that. So it might just be $50 or so for the fortnight, and you get to try lots of different classes.
I like it. It's a good way to meet people too.
Yeah.
Particularly like you said, if you're new to the area. Regional towns might not have 6 or 7 gyms,
Yes.
but that's okay. You can pick one, maybe, or just buy something secondhand. Cool, that's good. So we've got wills and fitness centers. The joining fees really get me.
Yeah.
I feel like the joining fees are just there so that they can reduce them and then people join.
Yeah. Fitness First
Was
you used to
$150.
always
Join
be
now
able
for
to
free.
negotiate the joining fee, and
Yeah.
Virgin Fitness and things like that. You could negotiate.
Is this like a pay cash and you get it cheaper?
Oh, just because they're a bigger chain, they have more discretion, and it's not like a small business that can't really cut the cost of these things. So
Yeah.
They-
Are you a negotiator? Like, would you, if you're going to go and buy a couch, would you haggle?
it really depends the type of business. If it's the business
So
model
it's
where
like
everything's
Excali or something.
yeah, you could try there.
Like, you're
Or
not
would you
going to
do-
haggle at IKEA.
Yeah, it really depends the business
You
model.
need my money.
If I'm going to buy a coffee from a small business, I would never haggle the price. But
Yeah.
if it's a larger purchase, like you're at a Harvey Norman buying a fridge, you can negotiate extras or reduce the price a bit, because they have quite a lot of wiggle room, like JB Hi-Fi you mentioned the other week.
My question is, are you the type of person that haggles?
It depends, yes. Sometimes I am.
Okay. What have you successfully haggled in the past?
Mostly clothing items. Like when I know something's full price, I'll be like, no, surely you can give me at least 5%, 10% off. But if it's on sale, obviously you don't ask because that's the sale price.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do it with clothes a lot.
What about you, Kate?
Probably JB Hi-Fi when they do price matching and things like that. Or if you say, well, I'm buying these 3 items, is there anything you can do for me? That kind of thing.
Just a simple question. You don't need to get like, you don't need to leave them in tears.
Yeah, and then there was an outlet sale, and like one time I was buying quite a few items, and I kind of negotiated there. I was like, well, what if I buy all 5 of these items? But if I've already decided I want to buy the item, then even if they say no, I'm going to buy it anyway. Like I'm not going to walk out the store and try and play a game of chicken.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of people do. I think I don't do it. I think people just feel bad for me that I don't haggle. And they're like, we'll give you 5% off.
They just see it in your face.
It's like a deer in headlights when I walk in. I'm like, full freight for this sucker. But then they're like, actually, we'll give him 5% off because that's actually, what we wanted. And it will make him think that we're doing him a favour so he comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really
Customer
just depends
loyalty.
on the
that's
size of the purchase and the type of store. Sometimes it's not appropriate.
Yeah. Actually, it depends who you get to, right? Like if someone's like really pushy as a salesperson, I feel like they invite the kind of back and forth. But if there's someone that's just like, oh yeah, you're not going to go in and be like, this is what I want.
Yeah. And you can often, like for large companies that have apps or subscription services, you can often email them and see if they have any discount or thing going on at the moment, because a lot of these things that have a coupon code on a regular basis, you can email them and they'll probably give you something.
For online shopping, you've mentioned it all the time, Honey.
Yeah, Honey's good. There was actually I can't remember the name of them, but you can actually just Google coupon codes. There's a heap of different ones out there. I know
there's like a website called Oz Bargain Hunters.
Oz Bargain
as well.
Hunters, that's great. Yeah, it's got like, it categorizes them. That's the one I'm thinking of. But even Channel 9 has like a coupon code section on their website.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure.
Cool.
And yeah, you can get a heap of stuff. And some of the codes are like out of date. They give you the coupon code and they say, did it work? Whereas at least, with Honey, it works. Because it figures it out algorithmically.
So what are you sharing with us this month, Owen?
I don't know if this is not my idea. I feel like someone else brought this up.
That's
but
all right. We'd
I
like
tried
to
it.
share here.
I tried it. The 7-Eleven app.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I live off that thing.
Do you?
Yeah. I use it like weekly.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you use it for?
Mostly petrol. But then they also have like the deals.
Yeah.
Like if you want a donut or something or a coffee or something, they have like weekly deals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got this thing like fuel lock. To Kate, I know you don't drive, so this is not like a super thing. But if it just goes like special unleaded, don't know if that's special or not. I don't think it is. And you go find fuel in my area. It searches all of the 7-Elevens in your area and offers you the lowest price. So you don't have to travel around. There we go. This is dodgy. $1.50, $1.90.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the same price I got last week. But it locks it in for 7 days, and then you can take it to any 7-Eleven. You just scan the app, and you do it. Now, I've heard of this before. There's RSCV stuff as well. This is super easy. But the final reason that I got this is I was actually on my way driving up to Wangaratta, which is in the country, about 2 or 3 hours from Melbourne. And I knew I was going to get fuel. I was going to get fuel twice. So I'm like, well, I may as well use the app because it's like, I think it saved me 9 cents a litre.
It's also different areas have different prices. So if you're in that particular cheaper area and you lock in your price, then you can use it wherever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you do it in like the town, and then when you go up, because like I don't think Wangaratta has 7-Eleven, but some of those regional towns it can be like an extra 30 cents. And so I did this, and I was just asking the guy at the 7-Eleven like, how does it work, blah blah blah, and he was actually serving me while also on the phone to his mate behind the counter. It's a full on thing, but he's like explaining to me how it works and walking me through it. He went to like charge me, and he said, actually, he's like, is that the app? And I said, yes, it is. And he's like, have you got the fuel lock? And I said, oh, I don't know how to set it up. He's like, well, let's not put this through until you've done it. Go away and do it and come back.
Oh, nice.
So I actually ended up saving like $1.50, but it might only be small. But if you fill up every week and if you have a bigger tank, it definitely helps. But like you said, Monique, actually, there's one final thing. The reason that I joined was I was sitting at the bows and I was looking around at stuff. There's all the advertising. And at the moment, if you join and when you link your Virgin Velocity, you get 7 times 11 points when you fill up.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that one.
So if you link it, I think I got like the equivalent of a return flight to Sydney in Virgin points
Cool.
just for filling up my tank.
Oh, wow.
So if you haven't already done it, now is the time to do it. And I think BP does something with Qantas. So if you are, look into that. But yeah, this is pretty cool. And there's another thing in here, like the rewards that you said.
Yeah.
But have you seen this? Pay and go.
No.
So this is I think it's like a straight out of the Amazon playbook in the US, but you don't actually need to go in store. You can just pay via the app. You can just do this fuel up, click on it. It knows when you're at a store and it knows your price lock. You just pay with Apple Pay or whatever your device you're using. And then you don't even walk in the store. You just pay for it on the phone.
I did not know that. I obviously haven't seen the updates.
And then the final thing is this thing. It's shop in store. Have you seen this?
No.
It's a bit of a gimmick, but it's a bit of fun. You don't actually have to go to the register when you go into a 7-Eleven store.
Okay.
So you just walk in, grab stuff off the shelf, use the app, and walk out.
Cool.
That would be a weird mental hurdle because
Yeah.
I feel like I was shoplifting even if I paid for it.
It's walk in, I'll take that pie and away I go.
You know how it's so weird when you just pay for things order and pay from your phone at a cafe and you just
walk out.
you walk out without really ever speaking to a staff
Yeah.
member.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
just do the me and you or the
That is kind of like the
Instagram
Amazon thing, aren't
orders.
those Amazon stores where you just
Yeah,
pick
just
up
walk in,
things and
walk out.
and
Yeah.
it reads whatever you purchase.
To be honest, I like talking to people and so I kind of like talking to the staff member there.
Yeah, 7-Eleven's not the type of experience.
Yeah, I mean at 2 a.m. in the morning if you're powering up with fuel on a big road trip. Maybe
yeah, or
not.
you're getting a slushy or whatever it's called, Slurpee.
Yep.
Yeah, so here we go. First time earner, question mark, fuel your points at 7-Eleven. And it says, link your Virgin Velocity account, scan the 7-Eleven app or Velocity card at checkout. You get 7 times your first fill points, 11 times your second fill points.
Cool.
So that's pretty cool. When does it end?
Well, I'll have to tell my
oh,
sister
shit.
about that.
This ends today.
Let's do it today. Let's all go today.
So time of recording, check whatever is on offer in your area. But there's heaps of different things on here as well. So Joe just saved an average of 14 cents per litre, asterisk. So I don't know what Joe's up to,
Yep.
but that's my thing. And my head's
Okay.
sweating with this wig on.
Yes, well, it definitely doesn't suit you, but
It's honestly making my eyes water. It's like so hot.
7-Eleven Fuel Lock app or other types of fuel saving apps if you are a car driver.
Okay, yes. 7-Eleven app. I
Okay.
was going to bring up Macca's, but then we would have got some flack. I
Yeah.
got a free McChicken though. Never had one of those before.
What? You've never had a McChicken?
Never had a McChicken.
We're on the healthy food now, Owen.
But, yeah, I am.
Chicken.
Fruit and
protein.
veg.
Yeah, avoiding meat.
All right. In terms of what we're up to at the moment, we've actually just launched a brand new podcast, the Australian Business Podcast. So if you haven't tuned in already or listened to our taster episode that we released last week, that is now available. So your favorite podcast platform, whether you're an Apple user, a Spotify user, I don't know where I'm going there, whether you're on Android like Monique,
Me.
the Business Podcast is on all your favorite platforms. So if that's something that interests you, we'd love if you could give it a follow and
A review,
a nice review if you like us.
Just full disclosure, the first 12 episodes are for starting a business. The first episode tells you everything you want to know about our journey with the business here at Rask. So it's very revealing. But then after that, there'll probably be a lot of interviews and that sort of stuff. We've had a lot of people reach out. Special thanks to Rumble Coffee Roasters who sent us a pack of coffee. And he actually said, this is Joe from Rumble Coffee here in Melbourne. Get your coffee online through Rumble Coffee Roasters. So that's a special shout out.
Yeah.
He actually sent us like a pack.
Yeah.
I think it's all gone. I couldn't see any in the
Oh, really?
staff kitchen there. And then he's like, I didn't know there were so many people in your office. And he's like, I'll send you another kilo. I'm
Aw.
like, I'm not gonna drink a kilo of coffee, but
That's
who knows,
lovely.
so yeah, the business podcast is a good one.
And it comes with a free business course on Rask
Free business
Education.
course.
So if you've taken any of our other free courses, you'll know where to go. You'll probably
Yeah.
already have an account on Rask Education, so you can sign up and get Owen's. It's quite a long course.
Yeah, it's
Covers everything.
it's
really.
12 parts, and it's probably not even just relevant for people that want to start a business that's like actually employing people. Like anyone could use it because, like, I'm in my fluoros today. Maybe if you are a tradie or something, and you want to know like how does the accounting work? Should I be a sole trader or a business, like a company? It's going to help you in that way. So it's just really about helping you. So if you need any,
and the
tips
course
and
is
whatever.
much better than what Owen looks like right now. So it's worth checking
Such a
out.
compliment.
yeah.
Oh,
I'll take that. I feel like this juice box, Golden Pash, is actually making me thirstier the more I drink of it.
well, you're spilling half of it on the table.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're also speaking at
These are really
FinFest next month. So if you're in Sydney on Saturday, the 15th of October, we'll be there speaking. Owen's going to talk about something he invests in. He'll be doing an interview.
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
both be doing a Get Rich Slow presentation. So it's going to be a fun day. There's food trucks. There's
It's like
going to be
$60 a
music.
ticket. I don't know how much.
I think it's
I'm just like
47,
making-
right?
40 something.
I'm just making
It
stuff
was
up.
47 the other
Bryce
day.
Manning, I'm like, what?
Yeah, but I think they gave us a coupon code for listeners if they want to buy a ticket. So
Yeah,
I'll
if you're-
find the details and put
If
it
you're
in
in
the show
Sydney,
notes.
let us know. Come say good day. There's a coffee cart there that we'll be having coffee at in the morning. You'll see us. We'll have Rask branded tops on. We're doing a few giveaways and things like that on the day. So it'll be a bit of fun. Food trucks, wine, beer, soft drinks, you name it. You can come meet the three of us.
If you want a sticker for the Finance Podcast, come find us.
If you want to stick, we've got
Wait, Owen went overboard when he
there's a few
discovered
too
that
many stickers.
Canva.
Canva prints.
Yes. So someone got excited.
I think
pretty
about 100
exciting.
stickers.
Oh my God.
I don't know
You've
what
got
you would do with
100
it, but you could
pages
stick it
worth
on
of
something,
stickers.
and that would be
Everything.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But come away from FinFest, the whole place is just full of stickers. They would hate that. Imagine if the peel
Long
went off.
story short, we'd love to see you there in Sydney on Saturday, the 15th of October, if you want to come along.
Yes. We're also in Sydney in the lead up to that too. So, it'd be good if you're around. Let us know. It'd be great to see you. And it's a good thing to get behind, even if you're not really into music festival type vibes. It's a lot of great guests there. There'll be a lot of like-minded people in the room, and it's just a during the day event. You know, there's if you're not the type of person that likes crowds, it's interesting to know that the stages you actually put on headphones, so it's like a silent
cool.
disco. So it's kind of cool, and a lot of great appearances there. Kate and I will be doing Get Rich Slow. Then we've got hyper growth investing, moderating a panel there, and also, like a stock tip or something. So that'll be a bit of fun.
Yes.
I don't think it has to be a stock though. So
Oh, well, we'll figure it out before then.
Yep.
And if you're a Rask ETFs member,
yes, we are rolling out basically everything. So that's what I've been working on the last month or two. So our Rask ETFs membership has changed to Rask Core. And the membership is becoming a lot more rounded in that we also have some share research. There's the forum and a community environment in there, so you get answers to your questions. There's also a special announcement that will probably be made in the next little while about how we can make it easier for you to invest, whether it's your first time or you've done this 100 times. Interestingly, a lot of people see the price tag of our membership, and it is so cheap when you compare it to financial advice, which might be 3, 5, 10,000, whatever. Like, it is so cheap. And a lot of people think cheap, therefore, equals beginner. It actually is interesting that I think a quarter of our members have been investing for more than 10 years. And a lot of people think, wow, that's not what I expected. And it's interesting because on this podcast, did you say we get 70% of our listener base comes through an Apple device?
Podcasts. Yeah.
Yeah, long live Apple. So, and then Spotify is only about 20%.
Yeah, close to that.
Yeah. What's interesting is our audience is very different to most other podcasters in our space. Like most of them are on Spotify. A lot of them are on Android. But a lot of our community is Apple, which is really interesting. Just totally different. And it's the same with our memberships. Like most listeners of this podcast are over the age of 30. Whereas a lot of the other channels that we are in the same mix with are very young. So it's great. We've got a wonderful community.
Yes, and I've had a few questions, so I'll just clarify. If you already were a Rask ETFs lifetime member, you automatically have access to Rask
Yes.
Core and everything Owen adds there. Same link, same login, nothing changes.
Yeah, it's only ever one login. And if you're a Rockets member, if you're a Rask Invest member, that all will be, like a lot of that will be included across in the core membership, and you'll automatically get your membership. sorted for you. The hard transition will happen in November, meaning that by then everyone will have migrated across. There won't be any kind of, any reason to go anywhere else. It will all be in there. But in the meantime, you can log in right now and you can check it out. So go ahead and do that. And if you are going to join it and you plan to be a Rask supporter for a very long time, I would advise you to join soon before we change the type of membership it is. Strong nudge on that. So cool.
Wonderful. And I just had a few more things to throw in, completely random before we wrap up because they don't really fit anywhere else. But we talked recently on the podcast about adding novelty to your spending to overcome that adaptation curve and increase your happiness per dollar. And things like the Melbourne Fringe Festival coming up in October, and even Six the Musical, which is currently in Sydney and going to Perth and Brisbane later this year. Highly encourage you to check that out.
You saw it twice, didn't you?
Yeah, I've seen it twice. But just doing fun things that you wouldn't normally do, getting out of your comfort zone. There's things like this in the arts that happen in every state. So go to an event that you wouldn't normally go to and just mix it up.
So many events around.
Yeah. So if you want some event ideas, Monique knows most of the gigs in Melbourne that are happening. So
it's music related. I'll know what's happening.
Send us a message and I'll get you involved. And also a fun podcast. Well, it's less fun, but more interesting. There's a museum-y thing in Scotland called the Library of Mistakes, and they document they collect books and memorabilia from financial frauds and all sorts of financial failures throughout history. And they actually have a podcast. So I'm hoping to go and visit when I go to Edinburgh in January, but I found the podcast which details some really interesting stories. This is a discovery this week. So
you did share that with me, yes.
Yes, it's called The Library of Mistakes. So have a look if you're interested in a bit of the history behind financial frauds and failures over time.
Yeah, cool. That episode on maximising happiness from money, that was one of my favourite that we've done this year.
Really?
Yes.
That was a fun one. I enjoyed that too.
It really just, it was a great episode.
Sparked something inside of you, did it?
I just levitated out of here.
You're inspired.
No, it was really good because, one, I love Elizabeth Dunn. I think her research is amazing. She wasn't the only one that produced that, but she was one of them. And it's just so easy to see it. We see it again and again and again. To spend money, thoughtfully, and to understand that money isn't like a source of pain, and it can actually be a way to help you improve your lifestyle, and even if you're on a budget.
It comes back to intention, and it's a tool that you can use to live your values.
Yeah, love it. And I've been reading Warren Buffett book, Shots of My Golden Pash. It's empty.
People wouldn't realize the reference, but Owen mentions Warren Buffett so often that I take a imaginary shot every time he does.
Buffett.
So if you spent more than just the couple of hours a week listening to the podcast with him, you'd realize he says it a lot.
Yes.
So
Buffett with 2 T's.
You would not be in a good way if you were taking real shots.
I noticed on the Perla website, one of their micro investing accounts is the S&P 500 ETF, IVV, and it's the tagline is something like a buffet of 500 companies, but it's Buffet, which is the way most people spell Buffett when they don't realize it's 2 T's. So I really like that. Good one, Nick. Play on words. But yeah, I've been reading this book called Buffett, The Making of an American Capitalist. And it actually just talks about his entire journey from where he was born in Omaha right through to how he learnt about investing, and then what he's done since. I started the book about 5 to 10 years ago and I didn't get through it, and now going back over it, it's actually really interesting he was coming out at a time when he was learning about investing after the Great Depression. So you can imagine how scary that would have been. If you think now's scary, wait till the US stock market basically went down for 25 years. Like it went sideways and took like 20 to 25 years to get back to its last peak. So imagine that, like over the last 20 years in Australia, it's just been up and to the right. But he was growing up in a period and learning about investing and still did what he did, even though that was the backdrop, which is really interesting. So that's my book. It's probably more for an advanced reader, maybe 2 to 3 years into your journey. You don't want to pick that book up first and start reading it. It won't make any sense.
Yes, just a bit of light reading. Monique, is there anything else you wanted to add today?
Look, just going back to your events, if there's any events that anyone needs, I am your event guide person.
Event guide in Melbourne.
Yep.
Did you know in Google, I did this yesterday, didn't work out for me exactly, but you know in Google Drive,
Yep.
you can create a map. So you just use like Google Maps and you can pin points on it.
Yeah.
And then you can share that with friends. So I did it for Melbourne coffee spots, my favourite spots in Melbourne. But you could do it for like gig locations. You could do it for whatever. And it's an easy way to share something with someone if they're like new to your city or they want to know where to go for a bit of nightlife.
Yeah, cool.
It's pretty cool. Just as an FYI. Yeah.
Good to know.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
send us a DM if you want to know some event ideas in Melbourne. I don't have much experience in any other state, but Monique and I can give you some suggestions.
Speaking of DMs, we will not DM you about crypto or trading strategies.
Yes.
Just as a reminder, there's still fake accounts popping up everywhere.
Yes. Stay safe online. We're not going to directly message you. We'll respond if you message us. Eventually, we get a few messages, and I'm not amazing with responding, but I do eventually get to most of them.
It's like, how have your trades been lately? I think that's how they open the conversation or something like that. How have your trades been?
Yeah, there's a few different. We've
bizarre-
seen a few screenshots, but yeah, Owen and I would not be messaging you about anything really.
No, and I don't think Monique will be sending you trading tips either.
Definitely not.
Monique Pizzica Media.
That's me.
That's the one. It's not going to trade.
Yep, no.
Send you stock tips or crypto insights. Yeah, cool.
All right, well, let's wrap this show up.
Let's get it done, says
If
Kate.
you want to keep the conversation going in Rask Core, share your savings accounts, your money saving hacks, your interesting investing books and finds, send not a message, post something in the Rask Core community, and we'll share the resources from today's episode with you there as well.
Cool. Great. Wonderful. Kate, thanks for joining me.
Thanks everyone for joining us for another Money and Chill. This one was even more unhinged, I think.
Mini pizza / Monique. Thank you.
Anytime.